The other day I was looking through my Steam profile and I noticed something embarrassing. My game completion rate was only 28%, so obviously I had to change that. I decided to go through all of my games and complete any missing achievements, starting with Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher is a cute and colourful farming game where you travel to a different planet and take up slime wrangling. Peaceful, right? I swear every game that really should be peaceful is not actually peaceful. I first played the game in 2016 where I finished the main storyline but left a majority of the game unfinished, leaving all of the hardest achievements till last. To take care of your slimes, you build them corrals and feed them, causing them to poop out plorts, which you can then sell to upgrade your farm. Sounds simple enough. I made a new save and then my journey began. I decided that I should focus on building up my ranch in the early game, as having access to all of the slimes and foods would make creating 100 slime science gadgets and completing the Slimepedia much easier. So I started the first day by vacuuming everything in sight and taking it back to the farm. For some reason I forgot about the existence of tar slimes and put the pink, rock and tabby slimes that I had been collecting in the same corral. Somehow a tar outbreak did not occur. If you haven't played Slime Rancher before, I'll explain. Slimes can turn into Largos by eating a plort that isn't in its own type. When a Largo eats a plort that isn't in its own type, it turns into a tar slime. The tar slimes have relentless appetites, with their favourite food being ranches. After reorganising my corral, I continued my day as if nothing happened. Initially, my grand plan for the first day was to travel to the Indigo Quarry where crystal and bomb slimes live. By collecting these slimes, I would have enough money to build up my ranch. However, after attempting to go there, I remembered that there are gates that block off sections of the map and I need slime keys to unlock them. So instead, I went home to sleep as I didn't have anything else to do. In the morning, I started to collect as much food as possible so that I could explode the Gordo slimes and get slime keys. I ended up choosing the pink Gordo slime to explode and got my very first slime key. Except I didn't go to the Indigo Quarry yet. I immediately forgot that I just picked up a slime key and instead I chose to spend my time arranging decorations on my farm. That's cute. I like that. Also, I discovered that chickens want to cause an uprising. Keeping chickens in their place prevents the uprising. On day 3, I finally remembered that I had a slime key that I could put to use and unlocked the Indigo Quarry. As I had planned, I collected as many crystal and bomb slimes as I could, and I even found an odd onion. Each slime type has a specific food that is its favourite food, and by feeding a slime this food, it will produce double the amount of plorts. It just so happened that the odd onion was the favoured food of the crystal slimes, making it a lot easier for me to make more money. Back at the farm, I made a corral for my crystal bomb slimes and set out to unlock my next area. I exploded the tabby Gordo thinking that I would get another slime key. I did not, but to make up for it, on my way back to the ranch, I came across a tar outbreak, allowing me to complete my first achievement for the video by holding onto a tar slime for 15 seconds. I spent the next day mainly just exploring the Indigo Quarry to gather some things that I had missed before. I picked up both a heartbeat and an ochre vegetable, adding to my collection of favoured foods. I exploded the rock Gordo, hoping for a slime key, but once again, I didn't get one. My day wasn't completely useless though. I upgraded my vac pack to include a jetpack, and I was able to make it over the broken bridge to explore the rest of the Indigo Quarry. I collected some puddle slimes, rad slimes and phosphor slimes to add to my growing collection before heading home. Then I sold plorts for the rest of the day so that I could buy corrals for my new slimes. I also bought my first ranch expansion, the Grotto, where I put the phosphor slimes and proceeded to forget about them for too long. I swear I am a good rancher. I really wanted to unlock the mossy blanket, so I found another rock Gordo to pop, and who would have thought? I did not get a slime key. I did actually unlock a new place though, which I didn't know existed, so that was pretty cool. I also hosted a pool party, getting me my second achievement. On day 6, I finally decided to look up the locations of the Gordos which give you slime keys and popped the phosphor Gordo. I got the slime key I was looking for and immediately went to explore the mossy blanket. I found honey slimes and mint mangoes which I brought home and unlocked the overgrowth to put them in. As I wanted to have access to all of the slimes and locations as quickly as possible, I spent the next day pretty much like day 6. I popped the crystal slime Gordo, giving me another slime key and my first taste of slime science resources. I'm not really sure how, but I managed to get these resources stuck in the terrain not even 5 minutes later. I decided that unlocking the lab to store these resources safely was a good idea. Then, with the slime key that I had gotten before, I unlocked the smaller gate to the ancient ruins, only to be met by a much bigger one. To unlock this gate, you need a rock plort, a tabby plort, a phosphor plort, a rad plort, a honey plort, and a boom plort. Luckily for me, I already had each of these slimes back at my farm, making this an easy task. As I was collecting these plorts though, I got distracted and spent the next day upgrading my farm. I even unlocked the final ranch expansion, the docks, where I spent more than enough time playing with the ducky toy in the pond. Once I remembered that I actually had a task to do, I officially unlocked the gate to the ancient ruins. Apparently I forgot how quantum slimes work because I sat trying to suck one up for a couple minutes before realizing it was a ghost. I also collected a phase lemon. Although this is the favoured food of the quantum slime, I didn't actually want to plant it on my farm, as to harvest the lemons you have to throw an object through the tree, and I did not want to have to deal with that hassle. I did, however, need to collect one to fill out my Slimepedia. On my way home from the ancient ruins, I found this patch of grass that was having a party. I was really confused until I looked underneath it and I saw a party Gordo. Of course, I had to make it my next big mission to pop it immediately, except I quickly realized that party slimes turn into pink slimes in your inventory. And to make matters worse, I got 3 rad ornaments. However, I made the most of the situation, and with the mass amounts of food I had in my hands, I popped another Gordo slime to obtain my next slime key. Now, I unlocked my final location, activated the teleporter, and made my way to the Glass Desert. The first thing I did in the Glass Desert was to bring back life and collect myself some dervish slimes, fire slimes, mosaic slimes, and a prickle pear to plant at home. The rest of the day I spent doing some ranch maintenance by buying and upgrading corrals and farms for my new slimes. By day 11, I had every type of slime on my ranch except for 2, the hunter slime and the tangle slime. So I set out today to collect them. The hunter slime is more of an elusive, relatively rare slime that spawns in the moss blanket. It also apparently spawns in the Glass Desert, but I have literally never seen one spawn there, so I'm kinda interested to see if anyone has actually seen one spawn there. To ensure that I could get a hunter slime, I collected almost all of the chickens on my farm and made my way to the hunter slime Gordo. I collected the hunter slimes from the popped Gordo and then made my way back to the Glass Desert to pick up tangle slimes and a silver parsnip. Now that I officially had every slime I could collect and a large majority of the favoured foods, I wanted to make my farm more efficient. I wanted to get rid of everything that I had just built before now and completely change it. Before I did that though, I started to contemplate what Largo combinations I wanted on my farm. I ended up prioritizing Largo combinations that have an easily farmable favourite food and don't eat meat, as farming chickens is really not my favourite thing to do. I started building up my ranch at the docks and then tried to get the achievement Controlling the Chaos, where you have to get 15 slimes in your vac stream at once. It didn't work. And I'm not sure why I decided to try and do it with rad slimes, considering I was literally just taking damage. I then got my 3rd and 4th achievement by sending a chick and elder rooster to their doom. And yes, I do in fact feel like a monster. Over the next few days, I focused solely on rebuilding my ranch to my liking. My final slime combination was a Tabby Hunter Largo, and even though I just said before that I didn't want any combinations that ate solely meat, the Hunter Tabby Largo are one of my favourite combinations. And with this Largo, I got my next achievement. Also, I saw a Tabby slime riding a flying phosphor slime, and I thought it was really important, and I wanted everyone to see that. On day 15, I finally started planning out the achievements that I needed to get done instead of just hoping for the best. I unlocked the plans to make a drill, drone, and a slime stage. I also upgraded my 7Z Rewards Club membership so that I could unlock a toy shop and purchase toys for all of my slimes. Obviously, I did not think through my farm layout because I decided to put my Tangle slimes right next to my Hunter slimes. And something I forgot about Tangle slimes, when they are hungry, they can grab things from outside of their own corrals with their vines. So my Tangle slimes ended up causing a tar outbreak on my farm, but luckily enough, I was able to control it before it became too out of hand. I also put 6 different Largo types in one corral to get my next achievement, 6-pack. On day 17, I built a silo, upgraded it, and put 50 plorts in each compartment to get my next achievement, and then set my sights on creating 100 slime science gadgets. I started putting all of my plorts into the refinery instead of selling them, as I really didn't need money anymore now that I'd built up my ranch again. I made my first pumps, which I placed in the moss blanket. While I was there, I realized for the first time that you have a flashlight in this game. Did anyone else not know this?
I've got a flashlight?
I also made some pumps and apiaries, but quickly realized I didn't have enough pink plorts to continue creating gadgets. So I ended up getting rid of my hunter tabby slimes to get more pink mosaic ones. The next few days consisted of putting plorts into the refinery, making drills, pumps and apiaries, installing them in various places, and then checking their contents once done. Not only did I have to create 100 slime science gadgets, I also needed to discover every material in the game, and as well I needed a rare material, royal jelly, to unlock most of my remaining achievements. To pass the time while I was waiting for my slime science gadgets to finish their cycles, I looked at the range exchange for the very first time. I accepted Ogden's exchange and completed it, finally unlocking his retreat. Before heading over, I crafted a Gordo snare and put a rooster in it, hoping to attract a hunter Gordo. At Ogden's retreat, I discovered the saber-tooth slimes, which I have to say are my favourite slimes, and spent my time exploring the wilds. Except at one point I completely forgot that I have limited jetpack fuel because I'm really smart, and I ended up knocking myself out. However, I did wake up with a trapped hunter Gordo slime, so that was actually nice. While I was completing my next range exchange to unlock my next area, I saw my first gold slime. Gold slimes are the rarest slime in the game. They cannot be caught and only eat gilded ginger, which randomly spawn in the glass desert each day. Even in my first playthrough, I had never seen or fed a gold slime. After completing the request, I unlocked Mochi's Manor and helped her collect Quicksilver plorts, unlocking the Quicksilver slimes in my Slimepedia. I also went back to Ogden's retreat and didn't get knocked out this time, allowing me to discover Tofu. I created more and more pumps, drills, and apiaries, being sure to check them after going to Mochi's Manor. I'm really not sure why, but I went to the Nimble Valley so much, considering there was actually no reason for me to go there. The only reason I was supposed to go there was to discover the Quicksilver slimes to put in my Slimepedia, which I'd already done, but I continued going there for the rest of my playthrough. But I ended up getting pretty good at it, and I got 149 Quicksilver plorts in one run. Days 24, 25, and 26 consisted of exactly the same thing. I created as many pumps, drills, and apiaries as possible. Installed them throughout the range, but mainly in the moss blanket, as I thought this would give me the highest chance of obtaining royal jelly. I visited Ogden's retreat, then Mochi's Manor, checked the contents of the gadgets, and then repeated this process over and over and over. On day 27, I decided to spice things up a little bit and put some drills in the Indigo Quarry for a change, which turned out to be a good decision because I ended up getting the material Indigonium, which I did in fact need. I also unlocked Victor's workshop for the first time, where I got put in a simulation in order to detect glitch slimes and catch bugs. These bugs really just look like dittos, and since getting out of the simulation, I swear every slime I see now just looks like a ditto. At one point I was really confused as to why tar slimes were spawning, and I thought that I had caused them to spawn, but as it turns out it was just my time to leave. Also, for some reason I walked out of the workshop without selling the bugs, so I really just did that for absolutely no reason. I was quite bored of doing the same thing every day, so I decided to try complete another achievement. I made my way to the Glass Desert to begin my search for gilded ginger and complete the hat trick achievement. To get this achievement, I needed to get 3 gold plorts from a singular gold slime. As gold slimes only eat gilded ginger, I began my journey to collecting it. I wasn't sure where they spawned, so I ended up having to follow a tutorial route and found my first one quite early on. For some reason, I didn't realize that by feeding a gold slime a singular gilded ginger that you can get up to 5 gold plorts. I thought that I had to feed 1 gold slime 3 gilded ginger, so I continued following the route until I found my second gilded ginger and decided to come back the next day when they respawn for a third. While here, I also collected some painted hens as I was nearly completed all of the Slimepedia except for some of the different chicken types, including the elder hen and rooster. The next day, I began to realize that I was quickly falling behind on my farming chores. I could not keep up with feeding all of my slimes, collecting their plorts, and selling them. So I made 2 drones with the materials I had collected from the moss blanket. I used one to feed my slimes and one to sell their plorts. I was able to get my first royal jelly from a treasure pod, and I really wasn't sure what to do with it. In order to complete 2 of my missing achievements, I needed to create a slime stage and a slime ball hoop, which both required royal jelly to create. So as I was unsure of which to create first, I went back to the glass desert to collect my 3rd gilded ginger. I did somehow get stuck in a part of the glass desert that I hadn't unlocked yet, and after half a day I started to get nervous that I would have to knock myself out to get home. Luckily though, I did manage to get out without doing that. Back at the farm, I spent some time watching my drones and then ended up feeling bad and doing their jobs for them so that they could take a break. I made 3 more drones, installing them throughout the ranch so I could spend more time looking for a gold slime. But then, as I was feeding my slimes, I accidentally shot out my gilded ginger and they ate one. Now, this wasn't actually an issue since I only needed 1 gilded ginger, but at the time I thought I needed 3, and this was the worst thing that has ever happened to me. Nevertheless, I continued on. I ended up making a refinery link with my royal jelly to make it easier to put plorts into the refinery. I placed it by my pink slimes and it did make my life so much easier, but I probably could have gone without it. I made 3 more drones and placed them in the grotto and the overgrowth. As well, I made as many slime science gadgets and installed them in the moss blanket, once again hoping for royal jelly. The next day, I went back to the glass desert to recover my lost gilded ginger and finally placed my first drilled pump and apiary there to see what I would get. It also turned out to be quite a lucky day as I managed to get not 1, but 2 royal jellies. Now I just needed 1 more to be able to create both a slime stage and a slime ball hoop. I excitedly made my way back to my farm to create and install a slime stage in the center. I went looking for a tar slime and couldn't find one, so I ended up trying to force feed a Largo, and eventually it worked, leading to me getting another achievement. I was also lucky enough to get the last royal jelly that I needed. I made a slime ball hoop and collected as many pink slimes as possible to dunk. I scored 56 on my first try, getting my next achievement. I then proceeded to absolutely demolish the ecosystem by putting all 50 pink slimes back on the range. 2 seconds later though, I vacuumed them back up because I didn't want that many pink slimes running around, and then another 2 seconds later I put them all back down because I wanted to get the controlling the chaos achievement. For the rest of my run, I proceeded to take my gilded ginger with me everywhere, just in case I saw a gold slime. I found the last remaining materials that I could discover from my slime science gadgets, meaning that I now had unlocked everything to complete the Slimepedia except for an elder hen and a manifold cube. I went back to Victor's workshop to actually sell the bugs this time and unlock the cube, and it was just my luck that a gold slime spawned into the simulation when I wasn't able to take my gilded ginger in. I really felt like I was being mocked there. Now that I found all the materials from the slime science gadgets, I really no longer needed to make more advanced ones, so I decided to make a heap of novice ones as they use less resources, and then I could hopefully complete my achievement of making 100. When I ran out of materials, I found out that I had made 99 of 100. I quickly ran to get more tabby plorts and then made my 100th slime science gadget. Now that I had finally achieved 100 slime science gadgets, I only had 2 achievements left, except for 3 that I would have to get in rush mode. These included completing the Slimepedia, which I now only needed an elder hen to complete, and getting 3 gold plorts from a singular gold slime. So I did 2 things. I ran around everywhere like a madman trying to find a gold slime, and I occasionally checked back at the farm to see if any of my hens had become an elder hen or not. I did manage to find a gold slime, and then this happened. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. The next 4 days looked exactly the same, except I ended up popping a tabby gordo that allowed me to go to a small island, as it apparently had a higher spawn rate for gold slimes. For the most part, I just ran around and occasionally checked on my chickens. On day 35, I realized that apparently chickens grow up by having chicks, so my hens wouldn't actually become elders by just sitting there. So I got rid of the chicks so that my chickens could have more. I also found a lucky ornament, which did not make me feel lucky whatsoever, especially considering I found another gold slime and didn't get it again. I made another chicken coop so that my chickens could have more babies and hopefully grow old quicker. And then I went back to my cycle of running around again. On day 37, I found 2 lucky slimes in the same spot. But this time, I had a good feeling. I ran around again today and then somehow I found it. A hen in the wild that had managed to survive its days and not get eaten, turning into an elder hen. This marked the end of completing the Slimepedia. Even though I hadn't found a gold slime yet, I was happy. But then, on my way home, in the exact place the lucky slime spawned, a gold slime appeared, and this time I managed to do it. After 5 days of running around like a headless chicken, I did it. This finally marked the end of my journey. Except for Rush Mode. Rush Mode is a game mode where you are given 3 days to make as much money as possible. To get all of the achievements in this mode, I had to make over $75,000 in only 3 days from selling plots. However, you do have a number of advantages. You automatically spawn with a number of gadgets, the most notable being a market link, 3 teleporters and 10 drones. By completing range exchanges, you can get Gilded Ginger and half a day of additional time per completed request. There are a number of gold Gordos that spawn throughout the range. Using the Gilded Ginger from the exchange, you can pop the Gordos, spawning a ton of gold slimes. And finally, by selling 25 of each plort, you can earn a bonus to your final score. Doesn't sound anxiety inducing at all. On my first try, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I ran around trying to look busy when in fact I was really not doing much. At this point, I was not aware of the differences between the standard mode and rush mode because I didn't research it at all. Instead, I was just hoping for the best. My plan initially was to grab as much stuff as possible, which is when I discovered the gold Gordos. I accepted and completed my first range exchange, giving me the Gilded Ginger to pop it, and try to hit as many gold slimes as possible. I also popped a pink Gordo to get a slime key and unlock the moss blanket. My very well thought out plan was to just collect the slimes that had high value plots such as bomb, honey, crystal and rad slimes. But as I progressed into day 2 of my 3rd day, I had barely made any money whatsoever, and I also knocked myself out trying to get out of the moss blanket. At this point, I decided to try again and actually did some research so this time I would know what I was doing. I started off my second attempt by putting down each of my teleporters and accepting my first range exchange request. My first goal was to complete this request and collect as much food as possible to throw at gold slimes later. Using all the food I collected, I also popped the pink Gordo and the phosphor Gordo to get 2 slime keys. Using the money I started with, I made a silo before completing the range exchange request, netting me 6 Gilded Ginger. I put 3 of these in the silo I just made and used the remaining 3 to pop the gold Gordo just outside my range. Using the food that I had amassed, I shot at anything that moved and then placed down my market link, selling all my gold plots. Next, I cheesed my way into the moss blanket, placing down my first teleporter and collected all the puddle slimes in the pond. I went back through the teleporter to buy a pond to place these puddle slimes so I didn't have to take up an inventory slot unnecessarily. Puddle slimes and fire slimes would help me immensely, as not only do their plots sell for quite a bit of money, but they also do not need to be fed, so I would not need to take care of them. After collecting my Gilded Ginger from the silo, I went back through the teleporter, using my first slime key to unlock the ancient ruins. Luckily, the gate to the ancient ruins was already unlocked, allowing me to make my way inside. I popped my second gold Gordo, putting down my market link again to sell any gold plots that I got, and then made my way to the glass desert. Day 2 rolled around as I entered the glass desert. The slimes in the glass desert all give expensive plots, so my main goal here was to collect as many as possible. As well, I popped the Dervish Gordo here to get my next slime key. Luckily, while I was popping the Gordo, a firestorm started. I collected as many fire slimes as possible and then placed my teleporter down to get back to the ranch. In the grotto, I created multiple ponds and incinerators for my puddle and fire slimes. I used 2 drones and placed down my market link so that the the drones could take the plorts that these slime produced to the market link, and I would be able to make money passively while I was out of the range. I went back through the teleporter to the glass desert, popped the Tangle Gordo, collected a prickle pear, silver parsnip, and sucked up as many Tangle, Dervish, and Mosaic slimes as I could. At the ranch, I made corrals for all of these slimes and started farming prickle pears and silver parsnips, as these are favoured foods. My next range exchange took me back to the moss blanket, where I collected honey slimes, boom slimes, and mint mangoes that I set up in the overgrowth with 2 drones. I unlocked the indigo quarry, placing down a teleporter, and collected crystal slimes to complete my range exchange. While here, I collected Oka as well as crystal and rad slimes and set these up by the lab at the range. As night came around, I wasn't too sure what to do, so I ran around trying to pick up any plorts from slimes I didn't already have at the farm in order to complete as many bonuses as possible. On day 3, I completed my next range exchange, getting another 6 gilded ginger. At this point, I was stockpiling my gilded ginger and had 12 in my silo. I spent today mainly ranching and selling plorts that I'd started collecting on my farm. At night, I ran around again trying to find more plorts. As I was running around the moss blanket on day 4, I found a hunter slime. When looking up tips and tricks for rush mode, multiple sources said it wasn't advisable to attempt to find hunter slimes, as it would be extremely difficult to get the hunter plort bonus and overall not worth the time. Despite that, I decided to take the hunter slime home with me because I thought it was so cute, and this turned out to be the best decision as my next range exchange required hunter plorts. I took my now 18 gilded ginger and stole my market link from the grotto and made my way to the Ash Isle through the indigo quarry. On this island there are 3 gold gordos. I popped all 3, almost getting 100 gold plorts, and sold these, officially getting me over the mark of $75,000. I decided to take it easy until the time ran out, trying to get enough plorts to complete all the bonuses. In the end, I didn't get the tabby or phosphor bonus, but I did get all the rush mode achievements, leading me to the end of my 100% journey. I also went up to 29% completion rate.